Hello everyone, welcome back to Durbanites FPL Game Week 35 review, Game Week 36 preview, starting as usual with the table. Big leads now at the top for Mubin, a great play of his bench boost as well, so picking up another 20 points, 43 points in the lead. So quite a few big gaps now among the top four, but later on there are still five teams battling it out for positions there. 6, 7, and 8 very close and not too far away from fifth place for Hassan. Not to be too complacent there. And then the fight there between the siblings still raging on between 9th and 10th. It is very close, and anything could happen in these last 3 game weeks. But it's not been just about the league table as well. The cup kicked off last week, so let's have a look at that. This is what the draw looks like for the quarterfinals. So the Chiefs taking on Dora, Dad and daughter there involved. Mangoose taking on Stranger Ming, so Zach's coming up against Muhammad Amin. Then you got the leader currently taking on Titanium FC. Let's see whether her defense is going to hold up this week. And then you've got the champ taking on Hassan. So that's how it lines up for the quarterfinals. Not sure how the semifinals will line up. We'll look at that when it comes in. But looking at the games for the qualifiers as well, the champ making it through fairly easily, 11-point win over Mohammed Siddiq. And then Coconut Stern unfortunately getting knocked out there by Titanium FC, the biggest win of the week as well, 19 points there in between that. And then the closest win as well between the cousins, Dora the scorer knocking out Pitch Perfect by 1 point on the week, very close. And then in the last one as well, Mo Money getting knocked out, 3-point differential there between her and Muhammad Amin. And that's how it now lines up for the quarterfinals. All excitement happening there in the cup as well. Now looking at player selections, Mo Salah still keeping up, 11 out of 12 managers having him this week. Alexander Isak is the next in line, 84% of managers favoring him. And then two of them just going over the halfway line. Jacob Murphy still held by a lot of managers with Newcastle, and Brian Mbeumo really with the fixtures that he has left and his consistency, he deserves to be up in that list. Quite a few differentiators this week. Eberechi Eze coming in again with double figures, owned by just one manager who happens to also be the current log leader. Dwight McNeil was an inspired transfer in, picking up by one manager there and picking up again double figures, 10 points. Kevin De Bruyne coming in 11 points, owned by two managers. Really inspired transfers in. And then Cole Palmer, who should actually be on the other side based on his last season. This season he's struggling a bit, but three managers managed to pick him up and pick up double points with him, double figures with him this week. Now, looking at the hits and misses, a couple of hits here. So in defense, Muhammad Amin, the champ, and Azra all picking up 20 plus points with that backline. And then on super strikers, Zax and Hassan picking up 20 plus points, captaining Alexander Isak, and that has really helped. Now, looking at the misses, just one Fatih ruining the chance here, 20 plus points sitting on her bench. Unfortunately, she picks up the hot bench in this very crucial week. Now, looking at the best possible selection for our team, strange setup here, 4-5-1, starting with Martinez at the back, Guardiol, Huijsen, Woutface, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka featuring in the defensive lineup, putting Virgil van Dijk on the bench. And then you've got Cole Palmer, Enzo, Eze, De Bruyne, and McNeil all featuring in that midfield. De Bruyne picking up the captain's armband, and all the midfielders playing this week, meaning that we put only Alexander Isak up front and put Raul and Beto on the bench. Kepa also taking up the backup keeper. One assistant manager played this week. Eddie Howe ended up being the best of that one. That team would have got you 113 points, not the best score by far, 130 with a bench boost at a total cost of 93.3. Now, looking at the fixtures that are left, just 3 weeks including this one. Teams that have the best run-ins, Nottingham Forest for sure, fighting for European spots. They have dropped off in the last couple of weeks, but now they have only this to play for. Leicester and West Ham, really good fixtures for them if they can get the results, and then a tough one against Chelsea, battling for that final European spot. Then you've got Brentford as well. Brentford have got good fixtures and a good solid team. Ipswich, Wolves in that fixture as well, and Fulham, who haven't really been performing. Buemo and Wissa are such a good partnership there. Kevin Skade as well, if you're looking for someone to pull in who can really make a difference. So just think about those selections for Brentford. Manchester City, the big news is Erling Haaland is back. He has a knack for coming through at the first and last weeks of the season. Man City have a chance unbelievably to finish second this season if things go well, with the results on Arsenal as well, who take on Liverpool this week. So definitely a chance for them to already skip. They have some great fixtures. Southampton, notoriously bad. Erling Haaland, notoriously good at punishing teams at the bottom of the table. Do you have the money to bring him in? I don't know who will make that change this week. Then you've got Aston Villa, not the easiest fixtures, but they do have Tottenham and Manchester United, both teams involved in the Europa League final, and both who have shown that they will rest players and rotate heavily in order to protect that final. So Aston Villa might get a chance at running into the top four as well. Then you've got West Ham United, not bad fixtures, again taking on Manchester United this week. Will feature a lot of youngsters, a chance for Bowen and team to get some good points in there. Then Notts Forest is a bit of a tricky one, but then Ipswich in the last day should have helped them with some points. And then you've got Wolves as well, taking on off-form Brighton, then Crystal Palace, who will also have one eye on the FA Cup final, especially now that relegation is saved, and then Brentford in the last week as well. Looking at teams to avoid, Spurs, because of the rotation as well, are probably going to rest a lot of players to make sure that they don't injure anyone before that final. Crystal Palace is a tricky fixture, Aston Villa as well, and then Brighton in the last week. Then you've got Newcastle, who are for sure an on-form team, had a tough result last week. Then Chelsea and Arsenal, then Everton on the last week. So maybe in the last week you're looking at them coming back. It's going to be a couple of tricky weeks for them. Same for Chelsea, Newcastle United coming up. Probably going to be safe because they're taking on Manchester United a week before that European final. Chelsea themselves involved in the European final as well. And then Notts Forest on the last day. A real fight for European spots there in these last 3 weeks. Arsenal coming off the back of being dumped out of the Champions League, take on the champions this week. It might be a weakened Liverpool team. Arne Slot has committed to rotate his team. We're not sure whether Arsenal are up for that fight. And then taking on Newcastle, which is again a straight shootout for second and third positions. And then Southampton on the last week. And then Liverpool themselves. The reason why we've called them out as tricky is not so much because of the difficulty of the fixtures, but because again Arne Slot has committed to rotating his team. Chances are, except for Mo Salah, who's chasing some personal records himself, the rest of the team is quite doubtful. We know Trent Alexander-Arnold, as an example, will probably not play this season, or at least not this game. For sure. So Conor Bradley is a good look at, and those are the kind of things that you're going to deal with in the latter half of the season. Now looking at the back lines, no issues with goalkeepers this week. So the picks for goalkeepers are Sells at Nottingham Forest based on the games, and Flecken, both of them based on the run-in 3 games. The rest of them are a bit 50-50, so up to you on how you want to go with that. Looking at the defenders, the usual suspects: Gabriel Martinez, Dallow, Hall, Stones, Tarkowski. All of them have been on for quite a while. Shear is now doubtful for this particular match, so that's going to be a bit of a knock to Newcastle as well this week. Hopefully he can play. It's not too much of a concern. Conor Bradley is now the pick instead of Trent Alexander-Arnold. Pundits tend to think that Conor Bradley is going to start being bled in already to take that spot for Trent full time. He's really a talented youngster, has shown what he can do in attacking as well. So that's why we've put him up as a choice this week. Maybe not against Arsenal, but think about it. Kirkes has always been an attacking threat for Bournemouth as well. They've got a good game this week. A tough match, but one that is winnable. Guardiola's shown why he's been so good, consistent performances back to back, and a good run in for City, especially against Southampton this week. Nico Williams, Aina, and Milinkovic, you can take your choice between the Forest defenders. Fairly good games going into it. All of them have attacking returns. Just depends on what your budget can allow. Williams being the best budget pick for this trio. And then Ryan Nuri, again, Wolves with not the best run in, but definitely a team capable of scoring goals. Chance for Ryan Nuri to shine here, but that is also a bit of a gamble pick for you. Now looking at the midfield, again, some of the names that we already know. Rodri is out for the season, hopefully be back for City next season. Madison is out from Spurs and probably missed the Europa League final as well. As quite a shocker for him. Heung-min Son is on his way back, but still highly doubtful, so he will not play. Bergvall is also out for Spurs, so the youngster not going to take part in any more of this season. Rashford's out for Aston Villa. Joe Linton's still doubtful for Newcastle, again adding to some concerns. But then you're probably looking at a Barnes, Murphy, Gordon midfield that will feature. Tielemans is out for Aston Villa, which is quite unfortunate. He's been quite the source of goals for them. Dango Otara's out from Bournemouth, but he was not getting the minutes that we would expect now that Kluivert's back. Hudson-Odoi also out for Notts Forest. Looking at the picks, Mo Salah, he's probably going to get his minutes all the way to the end of the season. He's looking to put big points on the board, so definitely one that you can pick. Saka for Arsenal, again, now that they're out of the Premier League, out of the Champions League, chances are he's going to get a lot more minutes in the Premier League. Maybe not the best pick for this week if you want to bring him in, but definitely some good fixtures towards the end of the season. Then you've got Elanga and Gibbs-White from Notts Forest, a chance for them to shine as well. Then you got Brendan Johnson at Spurs, he's a bit of a live wire. Dwight McNeil shown how good he can be now that he's back. Kevin De Bruyne, excellent last week against Southampton this week. Chances are he will play. It's his last season. He wants to leave with a bang. Getting Man City to finish in second place, probably one of those things that he can look forward to contributing to. Then you've got Brian Mbeumo, super consistent penalty taker. He's the man with the route to goals here. Morgan Rogers for Villa in a tough game. He's still the youngster that gets the most minutes as well, and has been fairly consistent this season for a really low budget pick, less than 6 million if you get him in. And Jared Bowen, again, looking at the fixtures, that is not the fact that he's taken on Man United this week, will probably field some youngsters, a chance for him to get some goals as well. Looking at the forwards, Havertz is making his way back, but unlikely that he will feature against Liverpool. Not sure if he'll make it back for the end of the season. No such luck for Gavi Jesus, who's now completely out, and no idea whether he will even be at Arsenal next season. Looks like he might be looking at an exit. Xerxes out for Manchester United for the rest of the season. Pedro for Brighton still out at this moment in time, as is Rodrigo Muniz for Fulham. And Jürgen Strand Larsen's picked up a bit of a knock, so he's doubtful. But with Matheus Cunha back, chances are they will not be relying on him. Looking at the picks though, Alexander Isak, tough games, but he is a class act. Still very much one of the highly rated centre forwards and one of the bigger transfer targets for most teams this summer. So Newcastle got to be looking at how they can hold on to him. Matheus Cunha, tough games, but he's definitely a goal scorer, so look to him to be adding in some points tallies here. Better shown how good he is also at Everton. Same with Chris Wood, has got some good games. He's gone a little bit off the boil after his injury, but he does have 3 good fixtures in which he can pick up points, especially if you're looking to have a differentiator within your team. Chris Wood is a good bet at this moment in time. Here's the man, Erling Haaland. He is back, fully fit, expected to go against Southampton. Again, guys, his time in the Premier League has shown that in the first 5 weeks and last 5 weeks of the season, he has been hat-tricks upon hat-tricks, and that's really what the stats show. Whether he'll be able to do it this time, it's anyone's guess. He's still valued at over 14 million, so you're going to have to clear a lot of people out to get him in. But if you do, it might just be the payoff you're looking for. Omar Marmoush will probably be pushed a little bit more to the wing or get limited minutes, so just think about that going into it. Richarlison at Spurs and Solanke, both of them playing well, playing in Europe as well. Both of them now fully fit for the first time, so a good chance for them to get some game time. But again, bear in mind, with that European League final, maybe not a lot of minutes. Not the same to be said for Yohan Wissa, who has been a fantastic foil for Brian Mbeumo. So definitely, if you're looking at pairing them or choosing one of them, Wissa's great value for the points that he's got this year versus what you would have paid for him. Fantastic. Ollie Watkins is a bit more of a premier pick. He's shown what he can do, a couple of goals against Newcastle as well. He is the man if he gets to play. With Rashford out, there's not really many options up front for Aston Villa, so chances are he will get minutes. Whether he gets goals is a different story altogether. But those are the picks that we have so far. For assistant managers, this week you're looking at putting in Potter for West Ham, a good game against Manchester United, a chance for them to pick up some points there. Guardiola for sure. Manchester City, he's got his full strength attack back. Pep can sense blood in the water with Arsenal slipping up, and he is going to go for that second spot. I think you can feel that. Nuno for Nottingham Forest as well, a good option, games in hand. If you're going to play that assistant manager chip in the last 3 weeks, this is the time to do it, and you can put in Nuno for all 3 weeks. You're probably good. Also looking at Thomas Frank for Brentford, great games, great results. He's been grinding it there. Also some good goals coming in from their side. And then also Pereira for Wolves. Again, looking at the last 3 weeks, a chance to get some games, get some goals in, get some points in, and bolster your team. Now, looking at the chip strategies, again, as we said, you're looking at the last 3 weeks. At this moment in time, if you still have a wild card, you've probably held it a bit too long. But if you can use it as a free hit for a particular week and try and set yourself up for the next 3 weeks. If you've still got a free hit, use it when you need it, but not likely that you will need to use it at this moment in time. You should have used it before. Assistant manager is probably the chip that's still being held the most. Now's the time to play it. There's only 3 weeks left, and you can really boost your team with a few points from the managers that we spoke about. And then, of course, the bench boosters and the triple captain, you're still holding on to it. Southampton games are the ones to target, or Ipswich, but I would say Southampton more. And you've definitely got this week Manchester City taking on Southampton. In the last week, you've got Brentford taking on Southampton. These are the games where I would expect people to play a triple captain, as an example, and the bench boost, of course, along the way, depending on what your bench looks like. So that's all we have for this week. It's a couple of hours until game time. Make sure that you have everything done before 2:30 Central African time or Central European time, based on where we all are. Make sure before 2:30 your changes are done, and get ready for the last 3 weeks. It's going to be a good one. We'll catch up on the next update. Don't forget to like, subscribe, drop a comment. For now.